Most of Southampton's history is bound up with its relationship to the sea, but it's also the birthplace of perhaps the most iconic aircraft in aviation history, the Supermarine Spitfire.
In 1935, the only fighter we had in the Royal Air Force, which was much good at all, was a biplane and was made of canvas. So a specification was put out for a new high-speed fighter. Down the road, only yards from where we're standing really, was the Supermarine Aircraft Company. Chief designer, R.J. Mitchell, and he produced an aeroplane very, very quickly. It was a thoroughbred. War broke out in '39, and the workforce in Southampton at the Woolston factory then turned to produce Spitfires for the Battle of Britain.
Don Smith and Margaret White, now in their 90s, became part of a Southampton workforce thousands strong, manufacturing the Spitfires to defend our shores. Don, do you think you realised then how important your work on the Spitfire would be?
Yes, and of course a lot of the Battle of Britain was fought over the skies of Southampton. So yeah, we felt very involved, very close to the whole thing. I don't know whether I could say fortunate, probably not the right word, to actually witness the only VC being won in the Battle of Britain, Nicholson's VC, and that was won virtually over the top of my house in Shirley. Unfortunately, I also witnessed the death of one of the people.
It's okay, we can stop.
Yes, it was a chap by the name of young Martin King, 19 years old, flying a Spitfire.
As the Spitfire was such an effective weapon, the factory here in Southampton quickly became a target.
I was only about 17. You heard all this awful noise, and you could tell the difference between a German plane and an English plane for some reason or other. And all this roar, and I looked out the window and I literally saw bombs coming down past the window. And luckily they missed it on the Tuesday. They came over on the Thursday, and we did have a warning then. And we managed to sort of get out of the factory. But some of the workforce, they did go to the shelter, and this shelter had a direct hit. Unfortunately, a lot of the workforce lost their lives, but I and one or two more people, we managed to get up the hill, and we went into a deep cellar of a pub. And we sat in this pub, I suppose, it seemed like for hours and hours. You do offer up a prayer, I must admit. Say, please Jesus, keep me safe.
But despite the factory being destroyed, production of the Spitfire continued. Garages, workshops, and even laundrettes all over Southampton were requisitioned to make parts. And by the end of the war, 8,000 Spitfires had been produced in this way.
It's often asked of me, could we have won the war without Spitfire? The fact of the matter is that if we had not won the Battle of Britain, because the Spitfire was there, we would have been invaded. No question whatsoever. So yes, we wouldn't have won the war without Spitfire. We had tremendously gallant and wonderful people flying them. Young lads of 19, giving their lives to this country, fighting for this country. But the fact of the matter is, of course, and the Spitfire wouldn't be there if it wasn't for these people, like the people of Southampton and Castle Bromwich and other places, that actually made those aircraft in very, very difficult conditions, and many lost their lives.
Overall, it was quite frightening. I mean, my poor grandmother who lived with us, she was quite a bright and cheerful lady, but the moment war broke out, she totally lost it. Totally lost it. We had to look after her very much after that. In fact, I used to have to sleep in her bedroom of the night because she wouldn't go to bed otherwise on her own.
When the air raid siren went at night, it was a frightening time. I don't think people that didn't live through it don't really understand how dreadful it was, but we survived, we got over it, and there was somebody there looking over us perhaps.
And now, with a special performance for Remembrance, here are the Military Wives Choirs featuring Laura Wright.
It doesn't get easier with time. Though you've been gone, you are here in my mind. To know there are others like me through adversity. Could you take our place, or would you fall under the weight? To hold your hand, hold your heart, to shine a light through the dark. We stand as one, proud and strong. It's what the fallen gave their lives for. Sons and daughters of brave heroes past, lend us courage and strength that will last. 1,000 voices as one we sing together. Could you take our place, or would you fall under the weight? To hold your hand, hold your heart, to shine a light through the dark. We stand as one, proud and strong. It's what the fallen gave their lives for. Shine a light through the proud and strong together. Could you take our place, or would you fall under the weight? To hold your hand, hold your heart, to shine a light through the dark. We stand as one, proud and strong. It's what the fallen gave their lives for. It's what the fallen gave their lives for.
Our next hymn has become something of an anthem for Southampton. Even the city's clock tower rings out its tune. Written by one of the most celebrated hymn writers, Isaac Watts, who was born here in 1674, it assures us of the eternal faithfulness of God.